Hello, just Gem here and welcome, or indeed welcome back to my channel. I did one of these and then I haven't revisited this series, but I want to keep going until the basket is empty, so to speak. The first video I did featured the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. I'd had that on my shelf for quite literally years and had never touched it, not even swatched it. And I went through my eyeshadow palettes and I've put together a pile basically of, well, I filled up my basket of shame. I think that's the simplest way to put it. This palette, don't judge me, okay? Please don't judge me, because I bought this palette when I don't think I'd ever dipped into eyeshadow before. But it was a brand that at the time everyone was talking about, a collab with an influencer that a lot of people were talking about. I didn't even personally follow this influencer. I was well aware of who they were. You'd have to be living under a rock if you were on the socials, if you were on YouTube or anything like that at the time. It would have been hard to escape the knowledge of this particular influencer. This palette came out, it was a collab with a brand and everyone was raving about it, and I got this intense feeling of FOMO. Intense. And I don't know why, because eyeshadow at that point was not my thing. I was a lipstick gal through and through. I was all about the lipsticks. I would have nothing on my face and rock a bright purple or a bright red or a bright pink lipstick. I was all about the lippy. When did it change for me? I think when I lived in Canada, I got really into eyeshadow. I don't know what it was about Canada, but that's when it really took off. But I bought this palette. I remember it got delivered and I opened it and I thought, oh, this is pretty. And I would open it and I would stare at it and I wouldn't have a clue what to do with it because I wasn't an eyeshadow person. I'd never applied eyeshadow at that point. I think I might have bought random cheap things and just shoved a finger in and smeared it on my lids and called it a day. So what possessed me to spend what was a reasonable amount of money at the time on an eyeshadow palette for someone who was below the level of a novice at applying eyeshadow? I couldn't tell you. And I would open up this palette and I would pick it up and I would look at it and I would ooh and ah, and then I'd close it and I'd put it back on the shelf and I would repeat the process. And eventually, I haven't even swatched this palette, guys. I haven't even dipped a finger into any of the shades. And then I would pick it up and pick it up and pick it up and I thought, just sell it. But then I was like, no, but then I'll regret it if I sell it. So it was just this ritual of pulling it out, looking at it, staring at it, putting it back and never actually using it. And then it just became this whole thing where I couldn't use it. Like I couldn't seem to bring myself to use it, which is utterly bizarre because why else are you buying these things if not to use them? So sometimes you use them as a collector's item, don't you? Rather than actually utilise them. But I don't want to collect makeup just to have it on my shelf. I do want to use it. And I think I've beaten around the bush for long enough. How old is this? 2017? But this is the palette, guys. It's the Jaclyn Hill Morphe collab palette. It's shameful, isn't it, that I haven't used it. And when I say I've never swatched it, I don't know if you can see that. I don't have my contact lenses in today, and I will explain why as I'm doing a look. But for anyone who is unfamiliar with what this palette looks like, this is it. This is the Morphe X Jaclyn Hill palette. There was a follow-up, and this is the original. I know they reformulated it and people really did not like it when it was reformulated. But this is the OG palette. I will say, if this performs horribly, I wouldn't blame it on the palette because one, it's an old formula, and 2, it's an old formula. So old because it will be like an old school formula, and 2, it's been on my shelf for literally years, gathering dust without being touched until today. I have an idea in mind of a look I want to create, because it's colours that I don't feel that I've mixed together very much. So that's what I'm going to try and do. So maybe like a bit of a black and teal type smoky eye. That's what I'm envisaging. And I do hope I'm in focus. I can't see because I don't have my contact lenses in. There are shade names. I think they must have been on the box, and I don't have the box anymore. But I'll do what I normally do. I'll shove a picture in the corner and I'll indicate. But I'm going to go into like a cool toned grey, I think. Not a cool toned grey, a cool toned brown to get us started. So over 227, cool tone brown. Mirror over here. So I do not have contact lenses in today because my eyes are very angry at me, to the point where I probably should not be applying makeup at all, to be fair. It may well be that I anger my eyes more when I come to take this makeup off, but I thought putting contact lenses on my eyeballs was a step too far, considering how enraged my eyes are. I think I was a bit sloppy in washing my makeup off the other day, and it just sort of... Do you ever get that when, you know, those days when you are a bit lax in washing your face and then your eyes just get a bit gunky? Well, it was that, but several notches higher. So I couldn't film yesterday because my eyes were just red and I looked like I'd been possessed by some kind of demon or something, and I thought it best not to film and scare you all with how red... I mean, to me they're still red. I know they're red because I'm anemic, so normally my eyes are super white, which is a sign of my iron deficiency. So when my eyes are red, I know something is up. This isn't bad, you know. I mean, this is only one shade, but for a formula that's donkey's years old, that's not bad. And I think part of that is to do with sort of how you store your product. So this has always been in a cool, dry place, so perhaps that's why. I mean, let's see when I try to layer some stuff on top of that. But, yeah. Ref 14 type brush now. I might just go into the shade next to it. I'm just curious to see how much deeper that appears on my lid, and then I'll eventually go to the black that's on the outside. But these are right next door to each other in the palette. Well, yeah, that's quite nice actually. This isn't bad, guys. This isn't bad at all. I did wonder if they would just be annoyed at me and they'd be dry and horrible and just be like, Gem, you missed your chance. You've had this palette for years. You could have played with it. You could have got involved and you just left it. But yeah, that's not bad. That's got glitter on it from another shade though. I remember eyeing this palette and everyone was talking about it, and I think I might have bought it at release, and it had been teased for a while, and I was thinking to myself, should I do it, should I do it? And I thought, don't buy it. You don't use eyeshadow. Why do you want to buy it? Like, don't be ridiculous. And then I thought about how I would feel seeing other people with this palette when I hadn't picked it up, and how annoyed I would be because I had the opportunity to. And obviously I caved and I got it. It's here. And then almost however long it is later. Look how long it's taken me to pull it out. It's just so weird. It just became like this. Even when I got into eyeshadow, it just became this palette that it was like it was verboten or something. I don't know. It was just, I'd pick it up, I'd look at it, I'd think about it. And then I think I went through this phase where I only wore really bright makeup. I mean, I still wear really bright makeup now, as in like eyeshadow. So when I did get into eyeshadow, it was really, really colourful looks. And I was in a bit of a rainbow era, buying lots of really, really colourful palettes. And so this didn't get a look in because it didn't fit into that criteria. It's very neutral heavy. I mean, there's 3.5 rows of very neutral shades, more than that if you count the browns and the very, very bottom. And then it's just got, well, it's got 4 pops of colour: a purple, a blue, and 2 tealy colours. But considering the look I have in mind, it seemed like the most appropriate time to pull this out of my basket of shame. They're not performing badly at all, guys. I've got to say, I'm impressed. Considering the age of this palette, I'm beginning to understand why people at that time were raving about it, because this is nice. And as well as not having contact lenses in, I also don't have any base makeup on. I've just put a bit of brow gel on and I've primed my lids with my Be Perfect priming canvas. There we go. Am I even? I think I'm even. Do I go for a matte look? Or maybe I put the teal down and I can go over with the tealy shimmer. I'm curious. That's the tealy shade. I'm curious. I don't normally use my finger for mattes, but I just want to see what that looks like when you swipe it on with a finger. I'm not mad at that, you know. A matte on the lid. I want some sparkle. Not that I feel like I'm going to get a massive amount of sparkle payoff from this. I don't think this is going to excel in the shimmer department, but we'll see. I didn't plan this, you know, putting this top on, but like now it matches, and that wasn't my intention at all when I put this t-shirt on. I'm really tempted to leave this as a matte look. Is that crazy? I'll at least, let me swatch. I don't know if this is going to look weird if I now get this involved. It's only makeup. Yeah, that does look weird. My battery did just die on me. I've tidied it up a little bit. I'm not convinced, but then I'm never convinced until I've put my concealer on. So I'm going to go and put some concealer on and come back, do the under eye and see what I feel once I've done all of that. Concealer on under the eye. I think I'm perhaps still looking a little bit, whoa. But we're going to do the under eye now. I haven't set, just so I've got it's sticky immediately under my eye, and then I'll go off and do my rest of my face again to show you how it all looks like as one cohesive look. But under the eye, well, I think it's got to be the black smoked out with the teal, really, hasn't it? I might put the teal down first and then go closer with a smaller brush with the black. So that ME11 again into that teal shade, the matte. I mean, I could use the shimmer, couldn't I? I think I'll use my Refer 3 to get in super close and get some black in there. I'm hoping that this isn't gonna anger my eyes, because they are getting better in comparison to how they looked yesterday. I looked horrific. They were really red, really red. Where's that Refer number 3? So there it is. I don't know if it will allow you to see that, just because it's a nice fine point, and I think I can get in there quite close underneath. Part of me is wondering if maybe I should have used a cream gel liner, but I think it's the cream gel liner from the other day that I used that made my eyes extra angry. So no cream gel liner today. I want more of the green. I do just want a hint of the black, so I think that's right. I think I've got it there. Okay. I'm going to finish everything off and then I'm going to come back. Finished look up close. What do you think? I wanted to do something different because, I mean, I guess this is bluey green, but it's always very blue, purple, green heavy because I thoroughly enjoy those colours. But I just wanted to do something a little bit different, mix colours together that I haven't done, at least on my channel before. I've probably done them off my channel, but whether I've done something like this for a video, I don't think so. And I do quite like how this has turned out, and I haven't done, fair enough, yes, I've got a bit of shimmer, but it's a very delicate shimmer, but I haven't done a predominantly matte look for a very long time. I had to put a little bit of sparkle in there, just a little bit. But yeah, what do you think of the finished look? Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I've zoomed you out. This is the full face, and I hope I'm in focus because I can't see at all. How have I finished my face? My concealer, which I don't have in front of me, is the Fenty one that I'm using a lot, and then I have done the rest of my face with this Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. That's in the shade 450, which I wonder if it's a touch warm, but it's fine, it does the job. Blush, I have used the NYX Buttermelt blush in the shade Butter Than Before, and that's a deep raspberry shade. I thought that would go quite nicely with this look, and that's what that looks like on the inside. I have also, oh, I do have the Fenty concealer in front of me. I didn't see that, there it is. I have also dabbed a little bit of the Moon Dew liquid highlighter from Beauty Moon Cosmetics. I've perfected, I think, how to use this and how to get the effect that I like, which is, for highlighter, very subtle. Blush in your face, highlighter, very subtle. Back of the hand, let it dry down a bit, get your finger and then dab, dab, dab on the high points of the cheek. So that's the Moon Dew liquid highlighter. Also from that subscription box, I have used the Starlit Kiss lip gloss, and I've toned it down by lining my lips with this NYX liner in deep purple. Marc Jacobs mascara, which I'm using up, and then the staple Clinique Easy Liner. I've got to say, for a palette that is however many years old, that I feel like I put this weird mental block in using this palette. It was like the longer I left it, the harder it became to just pick it up and use it. It's really bizarre. Am I making any sense? That's just weird, isn't it? Like, why haven't I just used it? Why has it taken me this many years to pick up the palette and use it? Utterly bizarre, I don't know. But now that I have, and I really, really like this look, I am going to use it again. Maybe I'll do a Basket of Shame take 2. I don't know if that really works, because surely by using it, it's out the basket officially. But maybe I'll do a part 2 where I do a neutral look, focusing a bit more on the top half of the palette and showing off the browns a bit more. I don't think this is necessarily a look that screams Morphe x Jaclyn Hill palette, but I kind of like that about this look. So I'm just looking at the monitor there. Well, I don't know why, because I can't see. I should just put my glasses on now. I don't know why I'm torturing myself and squinting and... Oh, that's better, isn't it? So apologies for the glare. I really like how this came out, actually. Really like it. Yeah, I had like a mini vision in my head of what I wanted. I knew I kind of wanted a smoky eye with a bit of teal in there, but I wasn't sure how I was going to get to that look. But this is it. I hope that you're not judging me too harshly for the fact it's taken me that long to pull that palette off my shelf. I still can't explain it. I don't think I'll ever be able to explain why it's taken me that long to pull that palette off my shelf. But I've done it now. And now that I have done it, I will be using this some more. I'm curious to see if the quality has held up for the rest of the shades in here. Annoyingly, I don't think I'd travel... Well, like I could do, because it's very lightweight. It's big, but it's not bulky. So maybe I would travel with it, but it's kind of infuriating that there's no mirror. But this could be a really good palette to take on work trips, just because, you know, you've got lots of neutrals over here, and then if you want to add a pop of colour, then you can go down that route. So maybe I would travel with this. There we have it, guys. Morphe x Jaclyn Hill, an OG favourite, I would say. I'm just very, very late. I mean, is the party still happening? I think I've arrived when the party is long done. Long finished. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch. I don't know how useful that has been, especially for a palette that is as old as that, but maybe it's encouraged you to dig it out if it's a palette that you have in your collection. Who knows? If it hasn't been useful, I hope it's at least been somewhat entertaining, roasting me for just not using an eyeshadow palette for donkey's years. And if you have enjoyed it, hopefully I'll see you again in a video in the not too distant future. Take care. Bye. And the first video that I did featured the Huda